DeWalt DCW210 B if you buy the bare tool. We're going to talk about this, how well it works, what to use it for, what not to use it for. Coming up. I'm Roger, welcome to the shop, and what we're going to cover here is the DeWalt DCW210 random orbital sander, 20 volt. Got the small battery on it right now. We're going to talk about this a little bit, what to do with it, what not to do with it. Pick this up because if you've watched any of my previous videos about the renovation house, we've got a lot of things going on there. And a lot of places where I need to do a little bit of touch sanding. I got some 120 grit paper on here right now. A little bit of the features of this sander. Got a little dust bag which works well. Yes, I've already used it, so I know how well it works. It's very simple to disconnect this. The dust collection works pretty well for what it is. I mean, you can connect a vacuum on here to get exceptional dust collection, and I would probably do that in the shop, but it's not practical up at the renovation house. So the dust bag comes with it. You just put it on and give it a little 1/8 turn to the right, and it locks it on. As I said, it is variable speed. It's got 1 through 7. So we'll put it up here on high speed. I'll give you a little bit of a demonstration on how well this works on a piece of scrap wood here. So got a little bit of a scrap here from when I was doing some work with the renovation house. We made our own moldings, and I needed some 4/4. So that's what this is, 4/4. It's actually cut out of an old waterbed frame. And it's been through the saw, so it's got some saw marks on it. What I have on the sander here is some 120 grit. And we'll start with it on high speed. And we'll slow it down. There's the lowest speed. And as you can see, it did not blow dust all over my table. So the dust collection works fairly well for, like, again, what it is. Just got to make sure you get the right paper and you don't get paper with 5 holes instead of 8 holes. This is an 8-hole pickup, and there is 5-hole paper. Now we'll talk about what to do and what not to do with this. Okay, what to do and what not to do with this. This is primarily meant for finish sanding. That doesn't mean you need to be from Finland or be Finnish, and you certainly don't want to sand somebody from Finland because they would probably object. But the purpose of this mostly is for finish sanding. You've got some light work to do and you don't want to drag a cord around. Now let's say you've got something you really need to hog some paint off of or do some really rough sanding, like this is a scrap of an old window sash here. It's got a lot of layers of old paint on it. This is not the tool for that. You need a corded sander like this one here, and even there I would be more inclined to use a belt sander on this with a 40 or 60 grit to hog that paint off of there first than I would one of these orbital sanders. If you have a small job, yeah, one of these here would probably work fine. If you've got a lot of area to cover, you really need a belt sander. A random orbital sander is not the tool for hogging off old finishes. Talking a little bit more about this, like I said, I've got the small battery on it now. This is a 1.5 amp hour, and it makes it fairly light. So if you're doing something up in the air or overhead, it's got a good ergonomic grip on it. You're not going to get tired. Now, if I take this off, maybe. There we go. Gotta push the button, and I know that. I have a lot of DeWalt tools. Now I got the 5 amp hour battery on here. That adds quite a bit of weight. If you're doing something flat like this here, that extra weight would probably actually help you out. But when if you're doing something overhead or you're up here vertical, yeah, that's going to wear on you a little bit. It adds quite a bit of extra weight. If it's a short-term thing, it's probably not going to bother you, but if you've got to do a lot of it, say you've got a lot of woodwork to do some finish sanding on before you stain or varnish or paint, this is where you out a little bit. It's a little bit better to use the smaller batteries. I'm not a big fan of these on like drills and impacts because they don't last very long. On the sander though, it actually does pretty well with the 120 or 220 grit paper on it. And I've used both at the renovation house for some of the work we're doing. And it'll last quite a while. On the horizontal surfaces though, I opt for the bigger battery. A little bit of extra weight helps. And incidentally, when you are using a random orbital sander, don't be cranking down on it because that's not how it works. Let the sander do the work. You just need to let it move back and forth on there under its own weight. And don't start doing one of these things when you want to, gouging it out, because you'll end up with a bunch of gouges and scratches in your wood or your workpiece. That's it's meant to be used flat, not up on an angle like this. And that's true of the corded one as well. You don't want to start doing this thing with it and turning it and trying to gouge, and you'll end up with gouges in your wood, and it'll definitely show up in the finish. I'm using this, like I said, I got 120 on it right now. I have taken it down to 220 for some of the finish work where we're sanding. Prepping ready for stain and polyurethane once we get all the dust out of the room, because you certainly don't want dust around when you're putting polyurethane on, unless you like lots of bumps in your finish. And this rule of corded versus cordless, I don't care if it's DeWalt, Milwaukee, Bosch, Makita, any of the other brands, even the stuff from Harbor Freight. You do not want to try to use a cordless sander for heavy work. That's not what they're designed for. They're made more for light duty sanding, light finish work. This will be real handy around here in the shop and as well as at the renovation house. As far as the corded random orbitals, I have 3 of these. 2 of them are variable speed, 1 of them is not. They work very well. The dust collection it's adequate for what it is. If I really want to collect the dust good, I'll hook my dust collector up to it, which is not in here right now, but it's over on the other side. We're doing something else. I forgot it wasn't there, but you can hook the hose to it. There's a lot of adapters you need because obviously if you work with shop vacs and dust collection, there is no standard size. Everybody's got to be different. So you're going to have a bunch of adapters. That's my little overview of this random orbital sander, DeWalt 20V, DCW210. B if you buy the bare tool, which I did because I already have lots of batteries. So if you got a little bit out of this, appreciate getting a thumbs up. Always helps the channel. And of course, we're always looking for subscribers. Next to that subscribe button's a little bell. You click that bell, you'll be notified when I post another video. Otherwise, I'm Roger in the shop. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.